This is my last port of call, Pennan, right on the border between Banff and Aberdeenshire. Very, very steep descent there, and 18 years ago when I was here, it was a declining village. I remember taking some photographs that day, and I'm just going down to see what it's like now. There's nothing flat enough for cultivation below, so this is where the folk had to dig their plots. In 1967, I chatted to quite a few fishermen here and was delighted to hear that the population was 200, though the men were fishing out of Fraserburgh. I must ask Leslie Gibson how things are now. Hello.
Oh, hello, Tom.
You remember me?
Oh, yes,
well,
a good few years ago.
Well, I'm glad to find you, and I thought you'd been away salmon fishing this morning.
Oh, well, it's a few years I had to give that up. So the old fella, Johnston, gave up and stopped fishing Pennan and fishes everything from Garnston. So that left us on the rocks and had to go to Fraserburgh fishing after that, in the Sea Nedwoods.
How many years were you salmon fishing here?
15 years. And in that time we tried gradually to work in a Pennan crew to keep Pennan alive, young crew. Ewan's dad, he was one of them, and there was a Thompson family. They had young children. It kept the school alive, it kept the village hall alive, and in general it just kept the population here. The rest of the fishing had to die because of the different modes of fishing. No, there's no way that you could get a livelihood for one of those small boats only for maybe 3 months in a year. So it had to be a shift to Fraserburgh.
Well, I remember the time you were recalling to me when 30 motorbikes used to leave this village in the morning to go away to the steam drifters.
I mind that myself. My father was one of them, because everybody here at that time, although Gamray had the drifters in Fraserburgh, Pennan supplied most of the drivers and the firemen in the steam days. So they had to get away early in the morning. The bus service was from 10 in the morning at that time, but they had to be down there to raise steam for getting off to the fishing grounds, and they had to leave here 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm going to have a wee walk around and just try to remember it as I remember it last. See you now.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Tom.
It's no wonder that Pennan was chosen for some of the filming of Local Hero. You couldn't get a more picturesque setting of cliffs, cottages perched along a wee street under them, and the sea just in front. The small boatmen who fish for mackerel and lobsters say there's always a swell here. It's a wild corner, when the wind is in the north especially, but what a thrilling place to live. I'm going to have a chat to Sandy Forbes. Well, you chose a great spot for your retirement.
Oh, I did indeed. I did indeed.
And when was that you came?
I've been here for about 3 years, but before that, of course, on and off for 20 years. I've been coming backwards and forwards to the place. Lovely.
You were living in Fraserburgh?
Fraserburgh, yes.
For over 30 years
for
in
34 years, yes.
Ah. And how have you found it here?
Oh, it's delightful. I knew what I was coming to, of course, and I had friends here before I came, and I've got first-class neighbours, and we're a very happy little community.
What about the winter time?
Winter time, well, we sat down one night and counted the souls in the village, and there were 13 adults and 2 bairns. That was it. And the water, of course, comes right over the bank head there. You have to dodge your way in and out of the close here.
And yet,
but you know it is going to be like that, you see, and you take precautions.
And is that what you like then?
Oh yes. I like the sea. I don't want to be on it, but I like to see it. I like to be near it. And you couldn't get much nearer than this.
How about the village since then? Has it declined further or what?
No, I think it's actually on the turn now. It's beginning to... The houses that have been for sale have been bought. And although it may be a bit regrettable that sometimes they're not bought as permanent homes, yet many of the people who use these as holiday homes contribute a great deal to the village. We're very pleased to see them.
I was hearing that one of the disasters, if you don't have a motor car, though,
Yes.
is you're a prisoner in Pennan.
Well, I'm in that position, but I'm not a prisoner. Not a prisoner. You choose your friends with discretion. You choose friends that have motor cars. I'm joking, of course.
Well, I'm going to have a wee walk down to the harbour. That's
Yes.
as far as I can go in Pennan.
Yes, well, you'll enjoy it. Don't fall in.
Bye-bye. What Pennan lacks, of course, is a deep water harbour. It dries out at low tide, so the boats have to be small for the kind of inshore fishing which gave a living of sorts before the days of trawling and seine net fishing. At last it was the salmon netting crew that kept the local men in wages, but, as Leslie Gibson told us, the Gardenston man who operated it gave up, so it's just the old men and the pleasure craft that use the harbour today. I'm glad I saw Pennan before its decline, when lots of children were playing. I took this picture of kids 18 years ago. I brought it with me to ask if any of them were still in the village to find out how they were doing. It's a reflection of the decline of Pennan that only 1 out of the 10 children I photographed all these years ago still lives in the village. You were 10 when the photograph was taken, Patricia.
That's right.
When did you leave here then?
I was about 18 when I left to go to Fraserburgh.
And did you go there to take a job or live permanently?
Well, my parents flitted there,
I see. How about you, Ewan? You're the only one in that photograph that lives here now.
That's right, I still live in the village.
How do you earn your living then?
Well, I work with an insurance company covering a round which is out with the village here, around the small communities south of Fraserburgh.
So is this as good a base here as anywhere?
Well, it's nice to be away from your work. You can come home at night and relax. You know, you're out of range.
Good. Now, how about you, Margaret? When did you leave?
When I was about 16.
Fraserburgh too?
To work.
You went there to work. And how about you? I know you're married, but how many children have you got?
2.
And do you ever bring them back here?
We come down in the summertime. Just for a day, like, now and again.
Do you think you would like to live here again?
No.
Of course, it's the fate of these old villages to decline with the failure of the inshore fishery. But in an age of increasing leisure, I'm sure that a new life will come to Pennan. Folk will always love boats and spectacular scenery. One of the things I discovered when I was out in thick mist one day in the salmon cobble was that the men could judge where they were by the noise of the seabirds. They knew by the volume of sound that they were under Troop Head and when they were under Pennan Head, and unerringly they picked up the salmon nets they were looking for. I hope that kind of skill will never die out on this superb coast.